to talk to you a little bit about the Adobe Illustrator software. This software is very powerful for making vector art, which is different than the traditional Photoshop style types that we might actually have, that are more of a rasterized image or pixel based instead of mathematical as Illustrator is. So what I have here is I have a 2019 version. However, it doesn't really matter if you have a 2018, it's still going to look pretty much the same. Maybe the interface is slightly different in the startup, but for the most part, it will be exactly the same for you, whether you're on a Mac or a PC. So first off, there's a couple different ways we can approach this. We have some automatic items down at the bottom that I can do that are already here for certain project types I might do. If I was doing video, which is something I do a lot of, and maybe you are too, then the HD TV 1080 may be the one you want to go to. But let's say we're not using full HD, but we're going to use something more like the 1280 by 720, then we would actually do a custom setting. Another way we can do this is just simply go to Create New and give it a second to load a page. And then we have some other items in here. So if I were to go up to Film and Video, you'll see that I have some other ones that are automatically here. And of course, there's templates and so forth, but we're not really concerned with that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to make something that maybe is going to be used for a logo. And instead of doing 4K and 8K, which are great if you have those types of things, but a lot of people don't have the machines that can actually handle that, we're going to go ahead and just do a simple 1080. And you'll notice that over here in the settings on the right, I can actually give this a name. So I can actually type in, let me just put in logo. And then this is going to be the 1920 in pixels and the 1080 in pixels for our size. You'll notice it's in landscape mode. Now, artboards is something for another video, but we're only going to be concerned with one artboard with what we're doing. Bleed, we're not really concerned about unless we were making a layout for the internet or something that was going to be printed, and we needed to make sure that the edges were going to show appropriately if they were cut and so forth. Now, RGB is what we're after here. There is a CMYK, but since we are doing things for this particular tutorial about video, it's going to be the RGB. If I was doing print, then I would do a CMYK. And then, of course, the raster effects, which is actually just dealing with the pixels per inch and the screen of 72. I can go to a high, which is 300. If I was making something I know I was going to use over and over and over again, that I might actually use. I'm going to go ahead and select the 150 so I get a medium. Even though when we actually render things as far as video quality, it tends to be kind of dummied down to 72 no matter what we do. But if we start with a higher quality video, per se, or a higher quality logo or image, per se, then we want to make sure that things kind of matches what I'm getting at. Preview mode, I'm not going to worry about this, but we're going to worry about just default. And once I've got these settings in place, I'm going to say Create. And when this opens up, you'll see there's some number of toolbars and so forth that will actually show themselves here in a second. I'm recording, so it's probably going to take it a second. These programs from Adobe, if you haven't realized, tend to be very labor intensive. Mine's saying it's not responding, but that happens frequently with this program as far as not wanting to load right away. And here we go. Okay, so a couple things. You'll notice that I'm zoomed way in and I've got these little green lines here. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to move these items over, and I'm going to shrink this down as far as my view is concerned. And there's a couple different ways we can do that. One is go to your view and actually say your view options as far as the way it actually looks to you. So I can say actual size or fit in window. And if I fit in window, you'll notice I get this great big area. And I don't really want that. So another thing I can do is use my Alt key or your Command key on a Mac, and if I hold down the space bar, I can actually pull this over. So I can do some quick resizing by using my little wheel on my mouse and zooming in and out, and I get something like this. Now, it's transparent. That's why we have these little pixel boxes, and we have these other images on there telling me basically as guides where my safe areas are if I was designing something to be used in HD video. And there's these little black lines out here as well. That's the actual video itself. So anything I do, I want to make sure is designed within that area. So I'm going to go over here to my rectangle tool. And very much like Photoshop or some of the other programs, right now the background's white. I can change that later. I'm going to come in and I'm going to draw this area so it actually fills within that space. And you'll see that right now it's not there completely, so I'm going to move this over and I can kind of see where all my lines are. Once I start drawing, it tends to take it away, so you can see my edges here. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in. It'll snap for me. So here is my working space, and that's kind of going to give you my area to actually see. So what are all these items over here? You'll notice I just clicked this one, which if you hover over, it's going to tell you V. That is a selection tool. This one's a direct selection tool, which is A, which is a very important tool because as we will go through and you will see in a few moments, things that I do, I can actually modify using this tool. And I can even go back in with the pen tools and so forth, which we'll talk about in a second. So I have my selection tool and I have a direct selection, and I have things like a magic wand, which we're not going to talk about. We have a lasso, which we're not going to talk about. But what we are going to talk about primarily are the selection tools, the pen tools, and if I hold that down, you'll see that there's some other ones in here like add anchor points, delete anchor points, and anchor point tool. Those are all useful. Then there's the free form. Some people really like this because they don't have to do anything. They can just go on here and they can draw. Right now that's white, so I'm going to change my my stroke up a little bit, and I'm going to give it some color and make sure I have that selected. And by the way, your layers are right here, the two pieces of paper. So if I click the layers, I should see this in here, and I should see the path I just drew. And for some reason it's not showing, so I'm going to go ahead and trash that, which you can just drag down to the trash. Maybe it's because it's underneath the actual item. So if I go back to just the pen tool and I were to go in and make sure all these things are visible, I should be able to click and draw, and you should be able to see that I have something there. If I double click, it closes it. Now you'll notice that, or actually I'm going to hit V to deselect. You'll notice that that particular item tends to have this fill in there, and that's great if that's what I'm after. But I'm going to go in here and change this to no fill, and now you'll notice it's just a line. And so this is really important because a lot of people kind of make that mistake and they try to figure out what's going on, and it's covering up what they're drawing. The trick is to hide that while you're drawing it, and if you need that fill, go ahead and add it back. So you'll notice that if I click on this, you'll see that there's only these areas here that are showing up with the handles. But if I click on this tool and I click, you'll see there's points that come in. So now I have these anchor points. And anchor points are how we actually draw things. So I'm going to click on this, and one time gives me this little ability to do curves. And if I pull and stretch and so forth, I can actually manipulate this. I can drag these points around. So I can remodify the shape that I'm actually in and so forth. But I can't do it on the ends because there's nothing there. So there's right here, if I hover, it says handle, it says anchor. So I want to go to a handle. I can add another curve to this, and so I can actually start pulling things around. And we're not really making anything at this point, but you can kind of see how you can reshape these items. And if I wanted to, I could just pull this down and kind of grab that curve and kind of bow it out. So if I wanted to make something that was a bending, like hand of some kind, let's say, for some creature, then I could do that. Once I do that, I'm just going to hit delete, and I'm going to show you another method of doing things in here as well. So I use this tool, the rectangle tool. I'm going to go in and I'm going to do an ellipse, and I'm going to leave the settings the same. And if I draw, you'll notice that it's all distorted. However, if I hold shift down, it snaps to a perfect circle, and so that's really important to do. So when I get that, if I shift and hold it and I let go, you'll notice that it made a perfect circle. And if I click on this tool, I can now go in and move this around anywhere I want. And let's say I wanted to make a Pac-Man out of this. Now how would I do that? The popular video game from way in the back. So you'll notice there's a point right here, and there's some here. If I click this point and I drag this in, you'll notice that it starts to take shape differently. And so I can actually manipulate each one of these points, and there's other ways of doing this, of course, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to make these slightly different, and I'm going to reshape until I get something that looks similar to it. And this is probably the least effective way to do this. There are much more effective ways to do it, but it kind of gives you an idea. So you'll notice that I just tried to use that one point and that didn't work so well. So I'm going to do a Command Z and go back, or a Control Z. And this is where the pen tool comes in. We're adding extra points. So now you'll notice that's selected. If I do add extra point or an anchor point, I can now come in and actually add another point. And if I go back to this tool, you'll notice that when I click this, there's these additional points I added. So what happens if I click this and drag this in now? You'll notice that it tends to be more symmetrical in appearance. And if I rotate this, I can start making this look more like the Pac-Man. Relatively easy. And of course, you know, it has a lot to do with where you place things up and down and so forth, and how much your curve is and so forth. But you can kind of see, I can kind of get that look. And if I don't like that necessarily, there are some other tools underneath the pencil tool here, which is this icon here, which is the 6-1 down if you have the same configuration. And there's something called a smooth tool. So with that selected, if I were to drag this and I have the smooth tool, I got to do it sometimes twice, and I drag this, it will tend to smooth these out so they're a little bit straighter. And it all goes by where you drag with this. You'll notice that it's doing things. So I've kind of got this curve going on. If I go here, it'll round it. If I come here, it just kind of adds those points. So what it did was it added points a lot of times. So anyway, that's all I want to show you for this one. Is just kind of a basic navigation. And when I come back in the next video, we will talk more about what you can do with this a little bit more.